Hey gang, Garrett here. Welcome to my beautiful shop, apartment, home brewery, and business. You might be asking yourself, Garrett, you make beer in here? I certainly do. And this video is about how I manage all the gas I use in my home brewery right there. So let's get into it. Some backstory here. I've used a variety of CO2 delivery methods from tiny 8-gram threaded cartridges and 20-ounce paintball CO2 tanks to set keg lids, all the way up to 5-pound and then 20-pound bulk tanks to do the same. Over those many years, I've come to appreciate a multi-layered approach to ensure redundancy and reliability up here on the mountain. Here has been my long-running CO2 Swiss Army knife, the 20-ounce paintball tank with pin valve regulator for approaching 15 years now. In the past, it was my primary CO2 setup for pouring beers. Now it serves as a portable way to set keg lids, connect temporarily to bottle Flanders Reds from the keg, and as a backup should I run out of my bulk CO2, but more on that later. When I swap out a full CO2 tank, I make it a point to make sure that both of my paintball tanks are full. A few years ago, I just take them to the sporting goods store to get them filled. Now, the single non-corporate sporting goods store that would fill my tanks no longer does, so I just decided to get a fill station on my own. Fun fact, my first job in high school was working at a paintball field, and my job was to fill these tanks for the players, so some 30 years later, it's become kind of weirdly nostalgic part of my brewing process. My main source is a 20-pound tank tucked outside in my connected shop. I put it behind jackets and boots as it's something that doesn't really need to be accessed all that often. I send a line over to my keezer, but also send off a line from that same tee to allow me to set lids on kegs after the wort has been cooled from a dunk in my cistern. Here is what that tee looks like, and here is what carboning up some water with a carbonation cap looks like too. Lid setting on a keg is equally unsexy. I find myself setting keg lids here in two different scenarios. First, if I finish a brew and I want to use my cistern as a cold water bath for the wort, and secondly, I finished pitching the yeast and need to seal the keg lid before keg fermentation. Next to my CO2 tank is my oxygen tank. I run a hose over here, and I have a place that I can click my oxygen wand into for safekeeping. You'll notice that the oxygen tank is a mere 3 feet away from where I finish cooling my wort and kegs. This is the only place where I actually need oxygen for brewing, so it doesn't require me to move anything. Back to the bulk CO2. If I were to run out of both of my bulk tanks, with one of my full paintball tanks, I could slap on this adapter and use these paintball tanks to push my kegerator beer and carbonated water until I were able to refill my bulk CO2 source. I use 1/4-inch OD polyethylene tubing on almost everything gas related. You might also be familiar with this as this is the tubing they use in reverse osmosis setups. It's super reliable, has mainstream applications, and allows a simple format to have a bevy of backups of all the fittings I may need in the future. Pressure leaving the bulk CO2 tank is at about 25 psi. One line branches off to set lids and top off PET bottles as shown before. The other line goes to my keezer, where I use an inline regulator to drop that 25 psi down to 10 or 12 to carbonate and push beer. If there's one takeaway in this video, it should be that gas design doesn't have to be overly complicated. It should, however, be intentional. And once you have it set up well, it just kind of disappears in the background. So, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.